Dangerous Hurricane Harvey, organizing, getting closer to Texas, weather conditions beginning to go downhill. I'm Mike Naso from the Tropical Video Update page here on YouTube with the latest on Hurricane Harvey. You can see it there on the satellite imagery in the Gulf of Mexico, looking very well organized, very dangerous as a storm surge, strong winds, and of course the heavy rain are going to begin to impact Texas over the next 12 to 18 hours, and then landfall probably within about, say, 18 to 24 hours, as this storm will come ashore as quite probably a major hurricane as it continues to make its march towards the coastline. Now, here is the latest on Hurricane Harvey. Now, I have a 9 a.m. Central, that's 10 a.m. Eastern update. It's at 26.5 north, 95.9 west. So, compared to the 8 a.m. Eastern advisory, it's gone a little more north and a little more west, and it's still moving northwest at 10 miles an hour. Maximum winds are 110 miles an hour, so it's perched just below Category 3 strength. And the pressure has dropped now precipitously throughout this morning down to 948 millibars, so this is a very serious hurricane. Now, what's even worse is that after it makes landfall as a major hurricane, it's going to weaken. However, it's going to sprawl out and uncoil and drop very heavy amounts of rain and then likely move back offshore. Now, how strong it gets after that is unknown. However, it's going to straddle the coastline and continue to have a fetch of moisture coming in over Texas and Louisiana that is going to cause extreme heavy rain. Now, what do I mean by extreme? I mean, this map from the Hurricane Center shows up to 20 inches in some of these areas. It could be as high as 35 inches in some areas. It's going to be ridiculous. The flooding potential in these regions of Texas is very, very bad with this hurricane. I cannot stress enough the danger that this hurricane poses. And as it loops around here, even as it weakens, the rainfall is not going to stop. So as it gets caught between the high pressures and slows down, even though the system will be inland and weakening wind-wise, rain-wise is going to continue to drop heavy rain because you don't necessarily need a strong tropical cyclone to drop a lot of rainfall. Now here's the radar imagery. You can see out of Brownsville, Texas, we do have a double eye wall structure. The hurricane hunters have been reporting now that we have two wind maximas, which means that this inner eye is going to start to dissipate, and the outer eye is going to be a much larger, better defined eye, and that is going to be where the worst winds are, and they are currently being found right around the center of the hurricane. That's where those Category 2, 3 winds are going to be, and as it continues to move up towards the coastline, the weather is going to get progressively worse. We already have one report from the Hurricane Center saying that right off of Padre Island, South Padre Island, they've reported a wind gust almost to 50 miles per hour. And so this is beginning to close in on the coastline. We've still got a little bit of time before the core of the hurricane gets there, but nevertheless the weather is going to go downhill. Areas like Rockport, Corpus Christi up here, you guys are directly in the path of a very powerful, dangerous hurricane. There's the visible satellite imagery as the sun comes up, still working out a new eye, and we'll begin to see that more and more. And the eye wall replacement cycle is not necessarily good news. Sometimes it weakens storms. This one has continued to intensify, and that's expanded the wind area and the direct area of impact. As you can see there, it's looking much better defined as it continues to move generally slowly. 10 miles an hour isn't that fast towards the northwest. And again, that should eventually bring it on shore somewhere in the hurricane warning area. But again, I stress from Corpus Christi all the way up the coastline there, you guys need to be prepared for the worst, for what Hurricane Harvey will bring. There's a better look on the Houston radar there. You can see it's much better organized with a secondary eye wall showing up. And again, that's what the hurricane hunters are reporting now, that they're seeing two pressure drops and two wind rises, one within the eye wall that was here and one within this new eye wall taking shape. and so it appears like it has time to get this new eye wall in shape, especially since that pressure has dropped into the 940s. Remember, when I last spoke with you, we were talking about the 970s, so this hurricane has continued to intensify. And note these heavy thunderstorms here moving along the coastline. This isn't just down in extreme South Texas. You're talking areas of rain here, Houston, Beaumont, Lake Charles. You guys are getting a pretty heavy rain squall headed your way, so batten down the hatches because it's on its way. The wind field, as mentioned, is beginning to expand a bit, which is not necessarily good news, like I said, because now we're beginning to see the tropical storm force winds just offshore. They're going to start to spread onshore throughout the day, and the exact timing of landfall is unknown. It could be 11 p.m., it could be 1 a.m., it could be 3 a.m., but regardless, this thing is going to stick around long enough to where the rain is going to be tremendous, the impacts at the coast are going to be very devastating, and this is a very serious hurricane, and we're going to keep an eye on it. We'll be back in the coming days with updates on Harvey, I'm sure, as this storm just really continues to intensify. Evacuations have been ordered. People are taking heed of this, boarding up, getting out of Dodge, doing everything you have to do in these last final hours prior to the arrival of Harvey. So stay tuned. We'll have more later as dangerous Harvey approaches Texas.